Welcome to Cozy Clouds, where every story is a gentle breeze carrying you into a world of dreams. If you'd like more peaceful stories, feel free to subscribe and join our cozy little corner of the clouds. Tonight's story begins now. Breathe in and let go of the day. Feel the soft embrace of a gentle story. Close your eyes, sink into comfort. Let your mind wander and drift away.
The Midnight Garden. In the quiet town of Wyndham, nestled between rolling hills and thick woods, there was a secret garden known only to the night. By day, its presence was hidden behind the stone walls of the town's library, concealed by ivy so thick it seemed almost impenetrable. Many passed by without noticing it, unaware of the magic that stirred as soon as the sun slipped below the horizon. Lena had lived in Wyndham for nearly 2 years. She had moved there seeking a slower pace, a way to escape the frantic energy of the city. The town was small, serene, and easy to navigate, and over time she had fallen into a routine that suited her. Quiet mornings at the coffee shop, afternoons spent reading, and long evening walks to clear her head. It was on one such walk, after a particularly draining day, that she found herself wandering down the cobblestone streets toward the library. The night air was crisp, cooler than usual for the time of year, and the sky above was an expanse of deep velvet dotted with stars. There was something about the stillness of the night that called to her, that made her footsteps lighter, her mind clearer. As Lena neared the library, a soft sound broke through the silence, a gentle, almost imperceptible sigh, like the whisper of wind through the trees. She paused, frowning slightly as she glanced around. The sound wasn't coming from the wind, nor from the street behind her. It seemed to emanate from the ivy-covered wall beside the library's rear courtyard. Curious, she took a step closer, her hand brushing against the cool leaves, and then, with the faintest creak, the ivy parted, revealing a small wrought iron gate that she had never noticed before. Its edges were rusted with age, but as she touched it, it swung open effortlessly. On the other side, a narrow path wound into what appeared to be a garden, dimly lit by the pale light of the moon. Lena hesitated for only a moment before stepping through the gate, drawn by an invisible pull that she couldn't quite explain. The moment she crossed the threshold, the air seemed to shift around her, growing warmer and thick with the scent of jasmine and lavender. The garden spread out before her, impossibly large for the space she had seen from the outside. It was like stepping into another world, one that was alive with magic. The plants that lined the path weren't ordinary flowers or shrubs. Their petals shimmered in the dark, glowing faintly in shades of blue, violet, and silver. The leaves rustled with a soft melody, as though they were singing to her. Lena followed the path, her heart quickening as the garden unfolded around her. She couldn't tell how far she had walked, but the further she ventured, the more the outside world seemed to fade away. The town, her responsibilities, even time itself, all became distant, irrelevant. At the center of the garden there stood a grand tree, its trunk wide and ancient, its branches stretching high into the starry sky. The tree was unlike any Lena had ever seen. It seemed to glow from within, its bark a deep silvery gray, while its leaves were a mix of emerald green and luminescent blue. Hanging from its branches were blossoms, huge pale flowers that looked like lanterns, casting a soft light across the clearing. Beneath the tree, nestled in the roots, was a stone bench. It was smooth and cool to the touch, clearly worn from years of use, though the garden seemed untouched by time. As if guided by instinct, Lena sat down, her body instantly relaxing as the weight of her day seemed to fall away. She let out a long breath, the tension in her shoulders easing. For a while, she simply sat, listening to the gentle hum of the garden. The breeze played with her hair, and the scent of the flowers wrapped around her like a blanket. She felt at peace in a way she hadn't in a long time. Her thoughts, usually racing and tangled, slowed to a calm, steady rhythm. The garden seemed to breathe with her, as though they were in perfect harmony. As she sat there, Lena realized that the garden was no ordinary place. It was timeless, untouched by the mundane world. Here, there were no worries, no tasks to complete, no clocks ticking away the hours. It was a place where time stood still, where the soul could rest. A soft sound like the fluttering of wings caught her attention. Looking up, Lena saw a small creature, a butterfly or something like it, hovering near the blossoms above. Its wings were translucent, shimmering in shades of blue and silver, and it flitted gracefully from flower to flower, leaving a trail of light in its wake. Lena watched, mesmerized, as more of these delicate creatures appeared, filling the air with their gentle glow. The longer she sat, the more at home she felt in this strange, enchanting place. It was as though the garden had been waiting for her, for this exact moment when she needed to escape from the world. She leaned back on the bench, closing her eyes, letting the sounds and scents of the garden wash over her. Somewhere in the distance, she heard the soft trickle of water, perhaps a stream or a small fountain. The sound mingled with the rustling leaves and the faint hum of the flowers, creating a lullaby that eased her deeper into relaxation. Her mind wandered, but instead of racing with thoughts of what she needed to do tomorrow or what had gone wrong today, she felt only peace. The garden had a way of silencing the noise of the world, of offering a place where nothing else mattered but this moment. Lena wasn't sure how long she sat there. Time, in the midnight garden, seemed to move differently. Minutes or hours could have passed, and it wouldn't have made a difference. She felt no need to leave, no pull to return to the reality that waited beyond the gate. Here, she could just be. Eventually, her eyelids grew heavy, and she felt herself drifting toward sleep. The warmth of the night air, the soft glow of the flowers, and the gentle hum of the garden lulled her into a state of complete calm. Her last thought before sleep claimed her was that she had never felt so at peace, so completely whole. When Lena awoke, the first light of dawn was just beginning to peek over the horizon. The garden around her was still, the blossoms no longer glowing but vibrant with color in the early morning light. The gate stood open, waiting for her to return to the world beyond. With a soft sigh, she stood, giving one last look at the garden before stepping through the gate and onto the cobblestone street. As she walked back to her apartment, The memory of the midnight garden lingered in her mind. She knew without a doubt that it would always be there, waiting for her whenever she needed it, a secret sanctuary where time stood still and peace could always be found.